we're welcoming you and we're glad you're with us.
Next.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. I'm Joe Lex. I'm a retired professor of emergency medicine from Temple University. I was in emergency medicine for 45 years or 49 years.
Wow.
And 5 years ago, walked away from it and said, that was fun. Now what can I do? So I do a radio show. I do a podcast for Laurel Hill Cemetery. I'm a volunteer tour guide at Laurel Hill Cemetery. And I discovered the grave of one of the most interesting people I have ever encountered in my life. His name is Monsignor Cyril Sigourney Webster Fay. He was a mentor to F. Scott Fitzgerald. If you pull out your copy of This Side of Paradise, you'll see that it's dedicated to him. He was a confessor for Cardinal James Gibbons. He was a special agent for Pope Benedict XV. He was a personal friend of Henry Adams. And there's absolutely fascinating character that has never had a biography. I am not a biographer. I have no idea how to write a biography. I thought maybe I could write a play about him though. So I've written a play about this. Oh, did I mention that he was a 300-pound albino who liked to cross-dress?
Wow.
I forgot to mention that part. What's that?
He's a Monsignor?
He was a Monsignor. He was an Episcopalian convert to Catholicism who immediately attached himself to Cardinal Gibbons in Baltimore. This is in the 19-teens. He
All right,
died
hold on, Joe. We don't have too much time, so.
That's fine. Okay. Anyway, no, he died of Spanish flu in 1919.
Wow.
But in his 43 years, if you ever have one of these, who living or dead would you want to have lunch with? This is the guy I want to have lunch with.
Well, we need to see a part of that play. We need to read part of that on one of these meetings. So
I'm happy to. I'm happy to. And I'm going to add one more thing and then I'll shut up. Sigourney Weaver took her name from Sigourney Fay.
I was going to ask that.
Indirectly, because she took her name after reading The Great Gatsby from a very minor character. But Fitzgerald had named that character after Sigourney Fay. So Sigourney Weaver is actually a character in my play.
Wow.
Wow, there you go.
Well, thank you for sharing. And I hope we get to read that one of these meetings.
I'm happy to send it to whoever wants it. I'm still working on it.
You'll be sending it to Bill. He's the guy that like reads
He's
through
a disperser.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so who's next?
I'll go, I guess. I'm Lisa Osicki. I think I've been with Next about 3 years, 2 years, somewhere in there. Susie had told me I should get involved. Just check CSP's website. It took me a long time to find it. find Next. But I've been here since I read, and I'm having a great time. As Mark said, it's a nice community. I like it.
Right.
Next.
Exactly.
Paula speaking. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry, these are the first words I've spoken all day. A little bit. I'm a translator. I used to work in theater in a past life, but now I do translation. And so I first looked at the Wilmington Drama League play reading site, but then they're not doing it anymore, I guess, in Wilmington. So I was pointed to CSP Next. And I think I'm newer than anybody besides the people who are just joining today. It's been maybe a year and a half or something. Anyway, immediately I was hooked, and I'm mostly submitting translated plays. So I'm really enjoying it. So thanks, guys. And I'm the person who translated the play that you can hear at the link in the chat.
What language?
That's from Montenegrin into English. So most languages of the former Yugoslavia: Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian, Montenegrin.
Did you grow up there?
Nope. Nope. It's a long story. We could do do that later.
Another time.
Man.
Thank you, Paula.
Keep us on track. Susie.
I'm trying. Next. Let's see who hasn't spoken. Joe, you haven't spoken.
You're on-
Unmute, sweetie, you're muted.
Can you hear me? Okay. I guess we're gonna have to start picking Joe number 1, number 2, and 3. I think there are 3 Joes here today, aren't there? Anyway, maybe 2. I'm Joe. I've been with the group for about 3 years, 3.5 years. It's really lots of fun, just to learn from everybody. And the most exciting thing is when you're writing by yourself, you don't hear what I just read to myself the characters, but after the first time I heard the actors reading the parts, it was unbelievable. It was like they just came to life, and it's so much fun when that happens, and everybody has fun reading everybody else's work, and a lot of times I've written something serious and it's turned into a comedy. So, well, anyway.
Who knew?
Well, anyway, it's fun.
Thank you, Joe. All right, next.
I guess I'll go next.
Yep, Suze, go ahead.
My name is Susan Boudreau. I was involved with Chapel Street Theater pretty seriously from 1993 to March of last year. I've been part of Next, I guess maybe for 5 years I was before I left. I can't remember. It seems like it's been a long time. Funny story, I got involved with Next through Bill, who had written a play about cancer and was asked to be part of this. And everybody kept saying, well, when you go to Next, I'm going, well, what's next? Like, what follows? I don't the next and then I found out about this group. So I started coming, and I love it. It's the perfect trifecta. What more could an actress want but to be able to act and read and not block and memorize? So it's been wonderful. I had to drop out when I moved. I'm in Florida now. I'm not even local. I had to drop out last March because I could never move in the middle of a pandemic. It's just a mess because I didn't have a computer, didn't have a way to connect. And then I started working, and my work was on Saturday. But I'm no longer working. So I'm thrilled to be back and seeing your faces. I cannot tell you, I'm going to cry because that's what I do. I cannot tell you how much I've missed you.
It's good to see you too, Suze. Good to see you.
My story.
All right, let's see. Christy and Brian, I believe you're the two last.
Lance hasn't spoken.
And who? Lance. Oh, sweetie, Lance, I'm sorry. You're right in
Okay.
the middle of my screen. That's why I missed you.
Right in the middle of your heart.
That's right, darling. Go ahead. You go now.
Who? Me?
Lance.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Lance. I've been in Next for 3 or 4 or 5 years now. They kind of run together. I'm a very, very inexperienced writer, but everybody in the group is definitely supportive and very encouraging. And it, like Joe said, it's nice to hear the voices come to life, or the characters come to life, and the way the actors and the directors and everybody interpret your work. It really is a collaborative effort, and I think we got a good thing here. So.
Thank you, Lance. All right. Who's up next?
I'm Brian. I've been with Next maybe 3 years, I think. I don't know. But I write a little bit.
He writes a lot.
He writes the best stuff.
Writes a
I
little
love
bit
his
every
stuff.
day.
I write just a little bit.
He's humble.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm come to think of it. I'm trying to think about it now. I don't even know how long I've been with Next, and I don't even remember who invited me to Next. That's the sad part. It might have been Bill. I think Bill invites everyone.
Bill, you need to start keeping track of how long people have been in this thing.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? All right, sorry, just messing. Go ahead, Brian.
But no, this group is perfect. Like, this is piggyback off of Lance. To be able to hear the characters through a different person's voice other than your own in your head is it's eye opening, and it only can make you a better writer. And this group has made me a better writer. So I love it. I look forward to it every month, and I'm more I'm more excited that we can be able to meet each other in person soon. So that's my story.
Your lips to God's ears. All right. And Christina. We have a different Christy and a Christina.
Yeah. Sorry, this is my work Zoom. So at work, I am Christina, but normally I go by Christy. But we can go by, since Christy is, from what I can tell, the most common name in the world. Other Christy, hello. Between Christys and Joes, that's the only name we need. You can call me Christina. I will definitely answer to that. So I was an adjunct professor for a long time, and I would do so that was part-time, and then I'd do editing on the side. And for the last year, I've been trying to do developmental editing full-time, and I can say that I finally got there. So I help writers, particularly novelists and screenwriters, go from I have an idea to I have a completed product. I guess other than that, I haven't been here lately because I've actually gotten a work study thing of all places in LA. Not that I'm in LA, but because of the pandemic, there's this writers group, screenwriters group out in LA called Writers Boot Camp, and it's the guy Jeff Gordon, he taught the screenwriters who did what is it called, a bunch of Oscar winning writers, The Shape of Water. He helped that guy. I think he even advised on the script, not the lead guy, but he had a co-writer. And so he taught the co-writer of whatever script that was. And then, and so I've been sort of taking classes with them, and it is very humbling because people there are very, very good. They're all in the union, and I'm this little girl from Delaware. But
hey, just because they're in the union doesn't mean they're good, Christy.
Oh, that's true. That's
all
true.
Right, well, you just don't, you keep in mind that you're awesome, and remember that while you're working with them. Yeah. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, please do. And I've really missed you guys because I think my time there really made me appreciate this, because everybody knows each other and everybody really wants to help each other, and everybody really wants to, it's different attitude. It's not I've brought something in, you critique it, I leave. And I guess I'll critique your stuff because I have to. It's literally you'll hear people read something, it'll stick in their head, and then a week later they'll be like, you know what? I couldn't pinpoint it at the time, but blah, blah, blah should be blah, blah, blah. And it's just really nice here. And I think people legitimately want you to do well. And then, of course, my favorite event in the entire world, which when will it happen, is the 24-hour. I don't know if anyone doesn't know what it is, but you're given 24 hours. The writers write, the actors are given their part, or directors are given you give actor. And so in 24 hours, you do a set of short one acts, and I love it. And now I've taken up everybody's time, and thank you.
Maybe I missed it. May I ask what's being read today?
Yeah, I don't have anything on that either.
I'm sorry, what was that question? I'm sorry, I apologize. I had a bit of an emergency here. What?
Oh, what's being read today? Did I miss that?
That would be our dispersers, Bill. Bill.
Yeah.
What's being read
I didn't know I
today?
had an official role. Lance has something to read.
No, I don't want to do mine right now. I didn't finish my last scene, and if the last scene isn't done, it's not going to be, it's not ready. So
you don't want to read part of it?
No, because it'll lose the momentum to the last scene, and it just anybody else but me right now.
Oh, that's not good. All right, so we now know that in future we need to kind of ahead of time, moving forward, everybody's kind of got to get into us what that they have stuff to read so that we can have stuff to read.
Now, let me ask you a question. How are you sending the scripts through Facebook or email? How are people getting?
Yeah, great question. What we have been doing in the past is posting the scripts on Facebook. I think it most likely in a PDF format.
Okay.
And I didn't see any. This go hold on. The only thing is Ryan Smith bragging about a script he's going to write.
I posted a very short monologue on Facebook.
Yeah,
It's a
yep.
Word. I could.
Oh, I did do that.
Post it again. I posted it last night.
And Bill, I'm gonna inbox this to you, and we can read it here.
Okay, good deal.
Sure, we got Brian to bail us out. He's always got something.
Yeah, Christy, new girl.
Man, you are swaying the boner, I'll tell you.
Wow.
Don't tell anybody.
Is this
Sometimes
Cassandra?
when we used to be, when we met in person, we would always come, and quite usually it would be that we would have more stuff to read than we would have time. And when we met in person, we only met for 2 hours, and then we went for 3, I think, at the end. And there's been a number of times, in fact, most of the time, the first 6 or 8 months of COVID, when people would come with more material to read than we would have time. There was a couple of full-length plays that took 1 or 2 entire 3-hour sessions, and we've had a couple collections of shorter work. So if it seems like we're kind of puttering today, just hang in there, because we're going to get our momentum back.
Yeah.
Well, you had me at donuts, so.
Donuts and coffee make the world go round.
There you go, baby. Indeed. And occasionally I bring in those little sandwiches from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I was trying to be healthy.
Yeah.
So do we have anything to read today? This is pretty funny.
Well, Brian said he was sending Bill something, so.
Yeah.
And I
know.
also have a short, like 1-page scene that I wrote that I don't think makes sense. So I might send it to you guys as well.
So that's my question. Believe I haven't done the Zoom meeting yet for the readings. How do you do this? You just post it on the screen and we can read it from the screen?
Yes.
I have it on I've got my phone. I pulled up the monologue, Paula, that you had posted. So I have the monologue here while I'm looking at you all there.
Yeah,
all right, so you did it on your phone.
You can go to the website, the CSP or Next website, and download the PDF, which is next to our posts, and either pull it up on the rest of your screen while you're looking at your computer or on your phone and read along with it, or if it's print it out if you want, or whoever's presenting it can put it on the screen and we can all look at it while we act.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because I am not real good at splitting my computer screen to have 2 things, but I could probably figure it out, but I might lose the whole meeting. So
Can you post the URL for the script? Can somebody in chat, can someone post the URL for the script?
oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Theoretically, I'm sort of like Susie. I'm afraid if I try to split the screen or leave this, I'm not going to be able to see anybody. I'll see the script and hear people.
That's okay.
Computer challenged.
And from my experience, sometimes you just see some of the people in the group, but every time somebody speaks,
That's cool. All right, I got this.
All right.
Okay, so you have the script, Brian?
Yeah, I sent it to Bill.
Oh, who's reading? You or?
Hey, Brian,
Yes.
where did you send it?
And your Facebook Messenger.
Okay, thank you. I'll put it down in a second. Let me get this Paula Gordon thing up and then load it into the chat, and then we'll go. Then I'll load Brian's thing into the chat. How's that?
You're the best.
Great, thanks, Bill.
Yep.
Well, you may not be the best, Bill, but you're really awesome.
We can find anybody, Bill, if we can find anybody better, we would.
I know, I just don't want to get your head too big.
Bill does a lot of running.
All we have to do is check our email then.
Bill,
hold on 1 second. Let me get right with the world.
I want to apologize. I would have had my stuff ready, but the girl that is helping me with my editing, her and I recently had a falling out, and it's kind of put me behind schedule.
Oh,
That's a shame.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
No, it's all right. Well, thanks. Laugh all you want.
really? Jesus. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
This isn't the most sensitive group there is.
I'm sorry.
So, will we see it in a
Lance
minute?
is so.
You'll
Hold
see
on,
next-
go ahead, give me one
you'll
second
see.
there. Give me 1 second. We are good. We are getting to where we need to be. I gotta. In the words of Mark to the new people, yeah, we're usually way better than this.
Yeah.
I think everybody got a little nerve wracked because we were going to record it, you know, so it became a scary thing instead of just what we do every week. So
Yeah,
Okay.
that
All
was a
right,
little,
there we go.
that was one of my concerns too. I didn't want it to be recorded yet because,
I
'cause
presume that that's why you decided not to do it, Lance.
yeah, okay. Well, that's
Silly.
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You're silly. I like what you write, so.
I
Is,
wish I saw more of what he writes.
are we doing the Cassandra cliche opening monologue?
I don't know what that means.
That's
There's
not-
a file on the next site for a PDF, or it's actually a
That's
Word
Paula's
file for everybody to
translation.
download if you want.
Oh,
Doing it right
By
now.
Paula.
It's in the chat.
We can, oh, okay.
Shush.
All right, so I shouldn't have
Everybody
gone to my
shush.
email.
Everybody shush. Oh, you can talk now.
Oh, thank God.
I'm just trying to get into Facebook so I can get these, because if I open it on the chat, then it'll be on my screen and I won't see anybody.
There you go, folks. You can download these at your leisure
Okay,
From where?
in the chat box.
okay.
Oh, boy.
The only thing I'm seeing in the chat box is the thing I put up, which was Paula's monologue.
Right. I don't see anything that Bill put up.
Okay, great.
if I-
This is working
If
out
I
just like
click
I
on-
perfect.
like
click
I
on the
planned.
chat, is that gonna like make me leave?
Yeah, Paula, could you just hold that up to this camera? Perfect.
Okay, okay, all right. So nobody can see this. That's good. I'm glad that it's
Bill-
working out so smoothly.
Bill, what happened, I think, is you sent me a link and then you didn't go back to everyone because I got the PDF. So just go back and change it to the whole group and you'll be okay. Send it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I saw something.
Duh. God.
Okay, so
That's
what,
Cassandra.
There you
And there
go.
is, thank you, thank
There
you.
you go.
There you go. And then there's another one. And this is the Love Beyond the Stars. There we go again. There you go, guys.
Not
That
that
should
one.
work now.
Okay.
Not
Not
that
that one, Bill.
one.
Like,
Jesus.
click
man.
on the
Yeah.
chat?
That's the one we read the
I'm not
last time.
swearing, I'm praying for you. What you've lost. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the one.
what's the name of it, Bill?
Wait, Joe. I'm in the middle of making everybody spend more time with this.
This is so funny. I find this
I don't know
amusing.
how I got elected to be the geek, but
Because you're a geek.
Yeah. Everybody
All
has a role in life. Bill.
Okay.
there we go. Now we got it.
Look at
What
you.
you've lost.
And
is
that's why you got
this-
elected, Bill, because you did it. You're the best.
All right, so it's 9:41. We have 19 minutes before this meeting's over. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, so what are the,
What are we doing first?
Cassandra.
How do you open it though? I can get it, when I try and click on it, it just goes to my save as thing.
Yeah, then you look on your downloads.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I need to become like a Microsoft teacher as well.
Yes.
All right, go over to your below. You get a little file folder and go to downloads. You click on it there. Here's what we'll do. Here's
I'm
what
not
I'm
reading
gonna make this
anyways, right?
wicked easy for. Let me make this wicked easy for everyone. Okay. There.
Wait, I see it.
Oh
There it
my
is.
gosh,
We've
oh
been
my
waiting for.
gosh, Bill, that's awesome. And
Let
that
me
is
make this
why,
easy for.
and that is why you were picked.
Yeah.
Click on the little, if you wouldn't mind, you see the button, the little window that says A, B, C, D, E up the top, A, B, B, C, C, D, D. Right there. Yeah, there's a
Yeah, we
little
got it.
paragraph symbol next to it to the left. Click that.
I don't like doing that.
There we go. Thank you.
You guys are.
You don't
so
like this?
good.
I do. I leave everything out with the paragraph symbols. Okay, somebody be Cassandra and let's drive on.
I think Susie wanted to be. And Susan, sorry.
Susan.
Susan, me, Susan? I can give it a
Susie,
shot.
Susie
I'm
Boudreau.
sorry, I'm sorry, I had an emergency. Okay, go ahead. What?
Let's have our actor from Florida do it.
Aw.
Let me know when you want me to start. Now?
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed studio audience, venerable visitors, welcome to the Cassandra Reality Show. Here at the Cassandra Reality Show, something is always happening, something that gives your life a new dimension, new meaning. You enter into the lives of others, into the real lives of others, and not, as in the theater, into the imagination of the playwright. Although you may have the impression that you are just watching and listening, that you are only passing,
Okay, I see it.
you are indeed participants. There are those who would call it commercialized, complicitous voyeurism and
I
exhibition.
don't see anybody else. Okay.
Pause
As
for a
if the-
second. Susan,
Sure.
I'm sorry, pause for a second.
That's okay.
Joe,
Yes.
can you, are you ready? Because we are actually already started. So do you need help?
I'm on here now.
All right, then if you could mute yourself.
Okay.
And
How
then
far have you gotten?
if you have any questions, do them on chat, please.
Okay, how far have you gotten?
I got to.
Well, we're gonna start again, Joe, because we want you to be part of it.
Okay.
Okay,
am
there,
I
Susie?
supposed to
Yep.
read anything?
No, you're supposed to sit there, think, and
Okay.
Thanks.
wallow in Paula's greatness. That's it. That's your job right now.
So do you want me to start from the top?
Okay,
Yeah.
please, if you would.
No problem.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed studio audience, venerable visitors, welcome to the Cassandra Reality Show. Here at the Cassandra Reality Show, something is always happening, something that gives your life a new dimension, new meaning. You enter into the lives of others, into the real lives of others, and not, as in the theater, into the imagination of the playwright. Although you may have the impression that you are just watching and listening, that you are only passive observers, you are indeed participants. There are those who would call it commercialized, complicitous voyeurism and exhibitionism, as if there was something bad about that, something illicit. Well, let us leave our critics to their own devices. And good evening to our venerable television viewers, to those of you who eagerly follow us from the comfort of your own homes and who lend support to our efforts to transport you from a time from your reality into the reality of the Cassandra Reality Show. Tonight, I will introduce you to three guests, persons very similar to yourselves, three transgressors, three sinners. And I will not resort to hocus pocus, razzle dazzle, abracadabra. I will not engage in a magician's ruse. I will not dangle a pendulum before their eyes and extract from an entranced guest their deepest secrets, feelings, frustrations. No, nothing of that sort. Our guests come to the Cassandra Reality Show completely voluntarily. But the wish to participate is not enough to be a guest on this show. You must also meet the following conditions. First, you must be decisive and persevering. Second, you must pass multiple elimination rounds. Third, you must be prepared for the severest of provocations. Fourth, you must be sufficiently fed up with yourself. Oh, I love this. Fed up to the point that you want to explode. And fifth, the condition that if left unmet precludes you from appearing on our show. You must pay our producer $5,000 for the opportunity to tell your story to all who wish to hear it. And they have a right to hear it. Either they pay the ticket price to join our studio audience, or they pay their cable company to subscribe to our channel, and thus they have purchased legally and indisputably your intimate experience. After all, would you tell your life story, reveal your deepest secrets to a stranger, some accidental seatmate on a train? Why grant that privilege to just one person? Tell it to millions. That is what your story deserves. Boy, that felt good.
Thank you.
I haven't done a script in over a year. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
So Paula, I didn't hear anything in there that sounded difficult for me to understand. I did have to walk away for a moment, but it made perfect sense. It sounded like it was written in English. It didn't sound like
It
it
did. It felt very easy to speak these lines. These were very easy. I gobbled some of the pronunciation, but I felt like I was reading like English.
I also thought it was a great hook too. I mean, I want to know what kind of show this is. I want to know where it's going. So it's really effective.
I think your use of I'm not sure if you had to work your way through it, but hocus pocus, razzle dazzle, and abracadabra, they seem that's a good choice of words. If that's exactly how it was in the original language, I don't know, but if you had to improvise it, that was a job well done.
Mm-hmm.
Great. This play is not set in the former Yugoslavia or anything. It's more experimental, and the characters who come out, it's really a series of monologues kind of interwoven.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are based on Greek myth, but not quite. So it's always kinds of, and at the end it almost seems like they should know each other, which is really odd. But it's this character is, it's definitely different than Refuse, and also different than Medea, which I brought in, which has a lot of the names.
I remember that.
So Paula, does this have additional scriptage?
It has a different, it's a whole play. I just haven't gotten further than this few paragraphs.
Well, once you're done, I'd really like to read it.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
It sounds like it would be fun to direct.
Paula,
It seems like it would be something, I mean, based on what we've seen and what you're saying, it seems like it should be something that should be manageable to put on our stages here.
I think so. And also it once in a while, it just says like commercial, It doesn't say, what it is. I mean, there's a lot that you can do with it, I think.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it were staged, if it would be in the traditional talk show format, or did these people come out one at a time, or would they all be up there like a Jerry Springer sort of situation?
I think the only there's some scenes on YouTube of it, which were done in a very serious kind of I don't know. It wouldn't be how I would do it. So
Director's choice.
Give a link, very much like Spotlight and really internal monologues, but it's not necessarily how I would tend to put it in a studio with 3 chairs and an interviewer chair kind of thing.
Jimmy Fallon.
Banal as possible, and and then have that juxtaposed with what they're saying, which
now, Paula, how much creative leeway do you have with this work?
Well, I think it's good to begin with, so I try to translate what's there. I'm not sure, meaning like,
can you add or embellish?
I wouldn't try to add or embellish in this sense of putting something there that's not there, either emotionally or linguistically in the original.
I just asked that because in the introduction here, you talk about where we have guests. It's a reality show, and you suggest that the stories you're about to hear are going to be worthwhile. That that we are going to really, it's going to be worth our time. And I wonder if you could throw in a little bit of foreshadowing. Like one of the stories will be a tale of sorrow that will
That's an
make you
interesting
question
idea,
your,
actually.
you know, something. And one will be a tale of redemption that will do something else. And then the third story will be one of I don't know. It'll be a story of something else that will combine the elements of the two and bring them together. I'm just saying, can you add a little foreshadowing so that, I mean, right now you're saying you're going to hear some amazing stories, but do you have the freedom to say one is about this, one is about that, and a third will leave you breathless as it combines elements or something like that?
I probably could. I mean, I would check with the playwright and see what he thought about it. What I'm thinking is almost immediately after this, after a commercial, but after this, the first guest comes out. But what you're suggesting actually is a good idea. I mean, in terms of dramaturgy, it's a good idea.
And the other,
Would you put it like between tonight I will introduce you and then before our guests come to the Cassandra reality show? Is that where you would put it?
no, I would put it lower in tonight I will introduce you to three guests of not, nothing of the sort. Our guests
Right.
come completely
And then kind of
voluntarily,
there.
somewhere in there.
Right.
Also, I have another suggestion, and I mean this in a serious, pragmatic sense, but it's going to come across like I'm making a joke, and I'm not. The last paragraph, you say, after all, would you tell your life story, reveal your deepest secrets to a stranger, some accidental seatmate on a train? Well, all of us have encountered people in real life who won't shut up, and they tell us all that stuff.
I know that's
Way too much information.
Yeah.
And would you tell your life story, reveal your deepest secrets? Yeah, we know people who we wish wouldn't, and we wish they would shut up. So maybe you could reword that to, this isn't somebody that you're trapped next to on a bus who has verbal diarrhea. This isn't somebody who you meet at a party and you quickly figure out why they're sitting alone because nobody else wants to hear this story for the 1,000th time. These are unique stories.
Well, I think the idea is not so much like the verbal diarrhea. I think the idea here is maybe if we just change the word would to why, although then you have like a redundancy. Why tell your story to a stranger when you could grant that privilege
Good.
to millions?
That's good.
Or even after all, you might tell your story, reveal your deepest secrets instead of would you to, because would you might have people say no, but then the rest of the paragraph says yes, you would.
Or what would it take to get you to tell your deepest secrets?
No, I like this making it why.
I do
like
too.
that why.
Because I think, for
Why is
instance,
good.
when I read that, I thought, well, of course I do that. I mean, people do that because
all the
they
time,
feel
yeah.
anonymous and they need to get something off their chest. But
Well,
I thought that
my
was
thought was
fine.
I guess I disagree with everyone because I think that last paragraph is dripping with irony, and I just kind of like it.
I think, Bill, that what we're wrestling with is the way people are interpreting that would you tell your life story. So some people are, I think some of us are hearing that as would you, like a real question. Would you? No, I wouldn't, but maybe people are hearing it as a real question, whereas it's setting us up to, why just tell your story to one person when you can tell it to millions? I think the assumption to me,
I get that.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I get that. I just don't agree with you. That's all. That's okay.
I didn't think it needed to be changed. I just thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was funny and true and sarcastic and and all of those things. So I didn't think it needed to be changed.
maybe I've encountered the wrong people, but I've met
Maybe you're a magnet.
I've met people who unfortunately tell me their life story and their deepest secrets after just 5 minutes, and I don't want to hear. No, these are people who I would really rather not hear these stories. They just need someone to let it out. And it's not like I'm the great confessor. No, they'll tell it to anybody, and it's a lot of stuff I don't.
No, you have that face.
You know, my thought, if you're trying to move it towards, you want to tell the story to everybody, anybody. If you and again, I'm no playwright, so please tell me to shut up if I'm not.
Stop apologizing.
But if it says, after all, don't tell your life story, reveal your deepest secrets to a stranger, some accidental seat made on a train, or change that to why, and then don't grant that privilege to just one person, tell it to millions. That's
That's great. That's great.
Can you say that again, please?
Sure. After all, why tell your life story, reveal your deepest secrets to a stranger, some accidental seatmate on a train? Don't grant that privilege to just one person. Tell it to millions. That is what your story deserves.
That's great.
That's good.
See, that's very conventional, but you're saying the same thing either way. You're bringing up you say okay, yeah, I guess that would be more succinct.
I think that my general thought is, after all, would you tell your life story, reveal your deepest secrets to a stranger, some accidental seatmate on a train? Why grant that privilege to just one person? Tell it to millions. That's what your story deserves.
That's how I read it. So
yeah.
And I initially said I didn't think, but I guess the other way sounds like it. Maybe it's more succinct, but I don't know. I like it the way it is.
I don't know.
Personally.
That's great. I'm talking about this.
I think we should pole vault over this mouse turn a little longer.
I think Paula should do it the way she wants, since she has votes on both sides.
Or maybe just do that paragraph 2 ways. Let us hear it.
A director called cut,
That's
right?
true.
No, the actor who's doing it say, wait, let's do that again.
Isn't that like the Edwin Drood, the mystery of Edwin Drood? Doesn't it have separate endings?
Right.
You can do that for paragraphs of dialogue for the audience to determine.
Hey, Paul, to get back to something else, I'm kind of curious. When you wrote this, did the original playwright use the words hocus pocus, razzle dazzle, or is that English translation?
I have to turn my back to you and go and find it, and I could tell you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was just curious.
I'll go off in a second and do the I can't remember.
Okay.
But I'll find it and I can tell you.
I come back to it at the end.
He might have done hocus pocus and abracadabra, but I might have come up with razzle dazzle.
Joe, you have a question?
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to get in my mind what the setting is here. I'm thinking, is this more like a psychiatrist's office, or is this more like a circus barker? Because I can see it working both ways. And when you start tossing terms around like abracadabra and razzle dazzle, you expect the person using those words to actually show some razzle dazzle.
Very good.
So I'm not really sure, is this a black box with 3 chairs, or is there a Ferris wheel in the background? I think it could go either way.
That's good.
Good point.
I'm also a little confused the way that the narrator jumps back and forth between yous. At one point, to those of you who eagerly follow us, obviously talking to a camera. And then in the 4th paragraph, you must also meet the following conditions. Who's the narrator talking to?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I thought about doing that. One must do this, but it doesn't sound the way people talk.
No, it doesn't. I agree.
But that also could be like explained through blocking. Like you said, if someone is literally, if you have a camera there you guys watching, but to the audience, if you want to come up here, because that's what I assumed it is like, that even the people in television land, because this is a TV reality show, I'm imagining it like a 90s Springer sort of thing. Like, hey, anyone can come up here and tell us their deepest, darkest secrets. So if you want to, here's the condition.
Yeah, good.
Today we have these 3 people, but just in mind, future episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an interpretation that's correct, but that's how I saw it.
Yeah, I think a lot of this really would be up to a director. I mean, it's all in there. Even I love the idea of, is it a psychiatrist's office or a carnival barker? Because of the characters that are coming up are like Narcissus and Electra. And yeah, I mean,
Oh, how cool.
it's all of these things
Could
that
be done 5 different ways by 5 different directors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to read the rest.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you guys. These are great comments.
Hey. Now on to Brother Smith's stuff.
Oh boy.
Give me 1 second to get organized.
Did you just say, oh boy?
What's the body count in this, Brian?
I'm not telling.
Hey, what's the name of it again, Bri? What's the name of this one?
What is the name? Oh, What You Lost.
Okay, I got it. I got it down.
Okay, let's see.
No, Bill, you're going to open it up again?
I surely am. And
That would be great,
let's
Bill.
see if
Thank you.
let's see if Brian can keep the body count down to, I don't know, 12 or 13.
Oh, that's no fun.
Thank you, Bill.
Wait till you read the next one. Not this one. The next one. Oh my goodness.
Bill, can you also put that on the chat? It's a little small on my screen, and I'd
I was
like
just
to
going
be
to
able
say,
to
can you make the font bigger or something?
I can do all that stuff, actually.
Make it bigger.
What You've Lost.
Is that all right?
That's much better.
That's great.
Because it's easier for me to see.
Thank you, Bill. You're the best.
I don't know how I got elected to do this, but
Because you
can do it.
You know what you're doing.
it's a rigged election is what it was, I'm telling you.
You're the only one that knows how to do it, so.
That's what I'm thinking.
You're the only one that would admit to how to do it.
So Brian, well, what do you need here?
Oh, we're good. You put it
I
on.
got 3 actors. It's mostly a bunch of stage directions. But,
Stage directions, you mean?
yeah, that's just it's a lot of them, and I got 3 actors.
I can read stage directions unless
Cool.
you want me to do it after. That's up to you.
Yeah, you if you don't mind, you could read the action scenes. Can I get New Christie to be Misty?
Yep, you got it.
And Lisa, can you be Terry?
Yep, Terry, yep. I can do that.
And hold on, let me see. Oh, and there's Robert. Lance, you can be Robert.
Oh boy. Okay.
His part of shit. This is mostly about the character Misty. I'll talk about this more about probably why I won't do nothing with this afterwards.
Okay.
Because it hits a little too close to home. So
Are you seeing the screen yet? The script? I don't see it yet. It says it's you started screen sharing, Bill.
I did.
Yep, I see it.
And you don't see it? I see it. It's on.
I see it.
It's to the left of my view of the people. It should say you're viewing Bill Potter's screen at the top. Does it say that at the top of your computer?
Yeah, it says you're viewing Bill Potter's screen, but I don't see anything.
Do you have the gallery view of people?
Yes.
Can you go up to the corner and, like, I don't know, make it half or something, or whole, or put it on
Side by side speaker.
Yeah, put the thing on. Yeah, try that. I'm so not tech.
And don't worry, we'll be editing this whole part out.
Oh, thank God. But see, this kind of stuff does happen at meetings.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the bloopers, Bill. You can't edit it out.
Everybody in the world has been dealing with this for the last year. Everybody can relate.
This is so funny.
I'm gonna have to step away just for a minute.
I guess it was some guy who was supposed to be on a meeting and didn't realize his screen was on, and he just come in, had to start changing his clothes, and then
Oh,
he
no.
didn't realize he was on a meeting.
Joe,
Hey,
are
how's
you
your-
Oh my God.
There's Joyce. You good,
I'm
Joe?
surprised more of that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I taught like last semester, I taught online, and I'll never forget my one student was there and she's giving a presentation and she's doing this great job. And then out of nowhere, I just hear this, ha ha. And like she just collapsed, like she just falls out of the screen. And it turns out her little brother just pushed her out of her chair. So she's there. And then they get up and start fighting. I had no idea.
Uh,
What to do? 'Cause I'm just like, stop.
it's almost like
That's what-
live theater if you don't edit it.
Hey,
Bill.
Brian, do you
Yeah.
want to just email it to me and I'll just load it that way and download it?
Okay.
Good idea. Yeah. All right.
Sure.
So am I reading the stage directions? Did you call them something else,
Yes,
Brian?
ma'am.
Yeah, you are reading, Susie.
Yeah.
Awesome. What did you call it?
You're in the stage
I
direction.
call them action
and,
scenes. They're stage directions.
Action
Action
Scenes
scene.
of action.
scenes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I know I got your email in here somewhere, Joe.
I never, what's your email, Joe? Hurry up, hurry up. Joe.
I have it, but I just don't know where it is right now.
Joe, throw your email in the chat. Let's go.
If anything, he can just listen.
Okay, that's cool too.
I'll still
Yeah, well,
email it
let's
to you, Joe.
start and we'll see if you can get it, Brian.
All right.
All right, let's roll. What You've Lost by Brian Smith. Here we go.
It's me. All right, you got to move it. Interior bedroom, night. An unmade bed with several ripped pillows, boxes filled with clothes, and a purse. Different colors of paint splattered all over the walls and ceiling. A dresser with the drawers open and half out, vanity mirror with desk and chair fill the room. Misty, dressed in only a towel, sits down in front of the vanity mirror. She walks over to the bed and grabs the purse and pulls out a makeup kit and lipstick. After pulling her hair back into a ponytail, Misty applies her makeup, eyeshadow, and lipstick. She stares at herself in the mirror.
You look amazing. But he doesn't.
After giving herself a look over, Misty breaks down into tears, smearing her lipstick. Oh, you just moved it across her face. Now composed, Misty reaches inside her purse again and pulls out a picture frame with a picture of her and a man hugging each other. She removes the picture and tears it in half. Holding the half of picture of herself, she rips it into pieces. The other half with the man, she rests on the desk and straightens it out and then kisses it several times. Looking back into the purse, Misty pulls out a stack of papers. The first piece of paper reads, Joint Complaint Petition on Declaration of Simplified Divorce.
You were my savior and my destroyer.
Misty carefully reads over the papers. Once she's on the last page, she runs her fingers over the area with the section husband is filled out. Reaching back into her purse, Misty pulls out a pen. She signs her first name but stops. Tears flow from her eyes. She grabs her lipstick and writes on the mirror with it. Misty writes the words, What You've Lost, across the mirror. Barely holding herself together, Misty pulls out a folded piece of paper. The paper is a picture of the same man from the first photo kissing a different woman. She tapes the picture to the mirror, then pushes her purse onto the floor. Misty puts her head down on the desk and cries her heart out.
All I did was love you.
Flashback. In the living room, night, Misty, now dressed in gym attire, enters the home carrying a bag. She kicks her shoes off and drinks from a water bottle. The sound of a woman moaning catches her attention.
Babe?
Misty slowly walks up the stairs. The moans grow louder. Bedroom continuous. Misty swings the bedroom door open and is in shock. The moaning woman is on top of a man. After a deep breath, Misty charges the bed. End flashback. Interior bedroom continues. Misty looks down at the mess from her purse. She picks it up and a handgun falls from it. Living room. Sofa and love seat are covered in plastic wrap. Several boxes fill the living room. The word cheater is spray painted across the wall leading to the upstairs. The front door is wide open. The man from the photo stands in the doorway. He slowly enters the house. Robert, dressed in a sweatsuit and sneakers, enters through the front door. He notices the writing on the wall and lowers his head in shame.
Misty, are you here?
Following not too far behind Robert, the woman from the second photo appears. Terry, also wearing sweatsuit and sneakers, enters the home carrying unfolded boxes. Terry drops everything she's holding when she sees the writing on the wall.
Robert, is she here?
I don't know. She was supposed to be gone yesterday.
Bedroom same night. Misty stares at herself through the mirror, then down at the handgun.
I was worth it. You'll see.
She puts the handgun to the side of her head and pulls the trigger. Living room. The gunshot startles Robert and Terry. They both rush up the stairs. Bedroom night. Robert rushes into the room and cradles Misty's lifeless body in his arms. Terry drops to her knees in the doorway and tears fall down her face.
Oh, Misty, why? Why would you do this?
Robert cradles Mary in his arms, or Misty in his arms. Tears flow down his face as well. The end. Wow.
Woo.
Wow, only one dead body. You're really slowing down.
I'm sorry that disappointed you, Bill.
That was 33% of the cast.
Yeah, that's
So he did kill off 33% of the cast. I guess that's okay.
That was really cool. That was very powerful.
that was good, Brian.
Thank you.
I've got chills.
Ow.
It hits a
How many
little
pages?
home.
How many pages is that, Brian?
4.
Well,
Wow,
that's good.
that's a lot. You shoved a lot in 4 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
job.
Yeah, you know, we've all had a moment like that, but just a quick story. My uncle cheated on my aunt, and she wrote, and his name was Jimmy, and she got a can of spray paint on the side of the house and puts Jimmy has VD on the side of her house.
Oh, boy.
And painted it on the side of her house. It was like in
Oh,
huge
wow.
letters.
Did he really have it?
No, she just put that on there to ruin his reputation.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he really had it, mister.
Oh God. Brian, did you want to do the other one too?
Which one?
You had one. I thought you had 2. You had
Well, when I opened it looked
Love
like,
Beyond the
it looked like it was same
Stars or
script.
something. Is that something different?
I
That's
see Sandra
we read
Love
that
Beyond.
one. Yeah, we read that one. I think maybe the last
Okay.
meeting or the
Okay. Cool.
last. Mhm.
Do we have any other people?
No, man, we don't. We are.
If you guys give me a second, I might be able to load something on the Facebook thing here.
So while he's doing that, Brian, did you say that
Hmm?
did you say you were not planning to do anything with that?
No, it's like I said, it hits a little too close to home because a friend of mine from work, he recently took his life.
Mm.
You know,
Oh my
in
gosh.
the same vein. You know, it was like
Very
his
violent.
girlfriend didn't cheat on him. Yeah, his girlfriend didn't cheat on him or anything. I'm trying to figure out like the whole story of
Right.
why he did that to himself. But just suicide in general right now, just something that it's a little too heavy for me. So that's why I'm
Sure.
like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with this story.
You know, I have to say that when I do theater, I always found it difficult to do plays that were super like Agnes of God. you know, where you're talking about stuff that's really painful and violent and it's murder or dear friend, all those things, because you get into the whole sphere as an actress or a writer, I would presume, and you live in it for a while.
Yes.
It could,
Yeah.
it's like trying to do Hamlet on stage for 15 years in a row. You know, it makes you want to commit suicide eventually because you're so bummed out from it. Yeah.
I know when we did Anne Frank, all of the adults in the production were really concerned going in that we would find ourselves at the bottom of a well and not be able to get out. And we didn't. We actually would hang out afterwards and stuff, and it helped a lot. But you can just you're living it for a few months. It can be really challenging.
Brian,
Yep.
have you ever thought about, I know you just said this puts you in a close place, but if you ever you have this, you know, like the vagina monologues, if there, I have another story I could share of suicide at some point in time with you. And maybe
Okay.
you could do 3 sections and each one a different example, a play, you know, what we could, because you could do what you just did on the play on a stage. I could make that a 1 act and do 3 1 acts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right, good. We'll talk later.
Hey, Bill,
The lunch still. We have to get a whole thing.
Yes, yes. I'm
I
holding you to that.
uploaded the file on our website, the next website. Can you do something with that?
I always can. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Brian, I love
me
the way you
1
have
second,
your
please.
camera angled to trick us into thinking you're tall.
Think I'm really like 5'2".
Even looking at the screen, I'm looking up at you.
I like that Bill
That's
one
why I
number.
have this thing. This it's a Kindle.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
And
nice
then-
view. I like view. I like that view.
Hopefully,
How
if
tall
it's-
are you?
Brian's
You ready?
7'8".
Mhm.
Brian makes us
You
all
know, that one
towers over us.
character.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
How much of this are we reading? The whole thing or?
Oh,
Huh?
where is it?
What, that's mine? Or what are we reading?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay.
That was the question, Lance. What do you intend for us to read? Is it a scene, an act?
I think there's 3 scenes here
Okay.
on this.
How
It's
many
not the
file.
one you were gonna read earlier, is it? Or you didn't want to read?
Yeah, it is, but I think if it's just the 3 scenes here, we can stop there and it won't ruin the rest.
Let
It
me,
won't ruin the
let me get to
momentum.
where I need to be, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay. Oops, sorry.
And, actually, I'm
Share screen.
one of the other problems was I'm not very computer literate, so I wasn't sure which file was saved in PDF. So I think this should be the first 3 scenes.
Yeah, let me get them. I'm having a brain cramp myself. Just give me 1 second.
This kind of part you can edit out, right, Bill?
Yeah.
This is
Absolutely.
gonna be edited down to like 5 seconds.
Awesome smart.
I'm having a challenge here, getting something. There we go. Let me try the screen share again.
Hey, Joe, Lex, do you read parts? Would you want to read one of these roles?
You're mute, Joe. Joe, you're mute.
Which Joe?
Joe Lex.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen it pop up on the screen.
Okay,
It hasn't yet because I'm having a challenge at the moment.
Lance, other than teaching, the last time I was on stage was as Prince Dauntless the Drab in Once Upon a Mattress in 1963.
that's exactly what I'm going for in this role, so perfect.
Once Upon a Mattress. What a wonderful show.
Uh,
An excellent show.
Again, give me just a second. I'm having a challenge here for some reason.
You're up to it.
Yeah, well,
But
we'll see about
I
that.
just admire the fact that you can even try to do it. I would make
Oh, God. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Sorry.
May I ask a a
Sorry,
quick
hold
question
on.
while he's working on that?
Yep.
Did you
Yes,
just
ma'am.
see you're getting a new theater? Is it close to the current one?
Ooh, it's a good story. Yeah,
It's what, about 5 minutes?
yeah.
Not
You know where
even.
Timothy's, oh, you're new. Wait, are you new?
No,
You're
but
totally new.
I was in Newark a couple of days ago and I drove by the current one. So I'm
Okay, so from the
getting my bearings.
current one, if you were to
Give
continue
me
down
one
that
second. I'm having a
street
challenge.
that you were on,
Sorry, Lance, having a challenge.
All right.
you're good. We're chatting while you're busy. If you go down the street, Chapel Street,
Mhm.
toward Cleveland Avenue,
Mhm.
and make a right, or no, go straight through, actually. I
Yeah,
apologize.
straight
You
through.
Continue straight through. You just keep on going. On your right-hand side is a restaurant called Timothy's.
Mhm.
If you turn as if you're going toward Timothy's and just keep on going back. And in the back are other buildings that are commercial buildings. And the developers and Chapel Street came to an agreement to sell the developers the Chapel Street that exists now. And the developers are going to redo a theater for Chapel Street back in the back by there, which used to be named also North Chapel Street. Was changed after like the World War II. They changed the name down in that area. But so we're still going to be Chapel Street Theater.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we'll have parking, and we'll be right by a restaurant again, the whole stream.
We're not gonna have parking, are we?
Yeah,
Holy
it is.
Yeah.
Toledo.
Now it's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
And everything's gonna be brand spanking new, because Chapel Street's, it is the most charming, warm theater, well, except in the basement where it's moldy.
It's moldy.
But you can't fix that anymore. It's so old. It's like
Right.
I believe it's over 100 years old, the building. So yeah, so it's such an awesome thing, and it was in front of Newark's commission to get that approved.
If
And
you go
we're
to
in the
our,
process of getting, I don't know if it's approved or not yet. I can't remember. It is. Does anybody
hey,
remember?
But
Bill.
Susie, how am I gonna get my steps in if you have a if you have a parking lot? 'Cause whenever I found parking, I got all 10,000 steps in going to and from the theater.
You'll have
There
to do
you go.
laps.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Laps
And-
around the parking lot.
One of the problems that Chapel Street's had in the past is that the parking lot that we have is used for the cast, the crew, any volunteers that are working that evening.
apartments.
So,
And the handicapped.
and the handicap.
Mhm.
So the only other parking for patrons has for past years been the Newark Shopping Center. So they had an agreement with us that as long as people left by 11 o'clock, they could park there. But now they have a movie theater there. And all that, and all these new restaurants, they got some serious restaurants, trust me. There's
Oh,
really
wow.
good restaurants over there.
And when they put in.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so,
The
yeah.
parking
You
lot.
got it, Bill?
Cut up.
Yeah, well, it should be up on the screen.
Can you make it bigger, please? I'm sorry, I can't read it.
That's all right. Someone said, Bill, like, they were drowning. So somebody want something?
Yeah, Bill, I was just gonna
Good.
say,
I'm still not.
never mind, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We'll do it as we go. Joe Lex, can you play Ned? And
read it.
Mark, can you play Mike?
Sure.
And some of you guys have seen this scene, heard the scene multiple times, but it's been changed, so.
What's this?
And
I don't know.
Susie, do you want to read the stage directions?
I
I
will,
still
as soon as
can't
it's
see
big
it.
enough for me to read it.
Now,
Okay.
what is this script called?
Oh, something just happened.
Running script one,
There
it
we go.
says.
All right, let me get it from the
I
webpage.
still can't see it.
Joe, I can't help that.
Okay.
Can't
can you
Can't
email
make
it
it,
to me,
you can't
or-
make it any bigger, Bill? The
How's
font,
that?
is it,
Is that any bigger for you? Hold on.
oh, that is,
it is, yeah.
Oh, that's
thank you.
great.
All right, let me
now I
download.
can pretty much read it. All right, I'm doing stage directions?
Yeah,
Okay,
Who am I, Mike?
everybody
Yeah.
ready? And if
mark your
the
mic
noise-
and
Can anyone hear the noise in my house?
No, I don't.
Okay, if
You
you
mean the
can't tell me
screaming?
and I'll move.
The
All right,
screen-
ready? All right. Act 1, Scene 1. Ned Slayton's office, Seaford Nylon Plant. Ned Slayton, 68, is sitting at his desk working on his computer. A nameplate on the front of his desk reads Ned Slayton, Plant Manager. His office is modest with neat and I'm sorry, I can't read this.
You want me to read it, Susie?
Yeah, go ahead, Suze.
Okay. His office is modest with neat and clean but somewhat dated furniture. On the wall behind Ned's desk is a large mural. The mural consists of a large maroon oval with a black silhouette of the nylon plant in the center. Centered below the oval are the words Nylon Capital of the World, Seaford, Delaware. A door to the production floor of the plant is about halfway up the stage right wall. On each side of the doors are motivational quotes printed on the wall about 3/4 of the way up. One quote reads, "Think things through." The other quote reads, "Complacency is devastating." A knock on the door, Mike 45 opens the door and sticks his head inside.
Hey, boss, you want to see me?
Hey, Mike, come on in.
Ned stands as Mike enters and walks over and shakes his hand. They have known each other for years and both are smiling and relaxed.
Have a seat. You need to scroll.
There we go. Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay, they sit. They sit. Mike removes his safety helmet, glasses, and sets them on the corner of the desk. That's a nice touch.
It's good to see you. I heard you had some meetings up in Wilmington all week.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's good to be home.
Everything all right?
Yeah, well, a lot of number crunching and strategy meetings. It's amazing how the same numbers can be twisted around to support completely different conclusions.
Oh, better you than me.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Hey, speaking of numbers, I read the safety reports you emailed me. Congratulations, they look great.
Thanks, but I can't take all the credit. Everyone on the floor has been doing a really good job lately.
I'll say 100,000 work hours without any lost time to injuries. It's great, especially with the tensions lately. Great work getting everyone on board with the new safety programs you've developed.
Mike shrugs humbly.
It's mostly common sense.
Don't be so modest. Come on now, Mike. Getting everyone to change their daily routine isn't easy, but you have a great relationship with everyone on the team. A report like this will help all of you when we finally get back to the negotiation table at the end of the month.
That's what I've been trying to stress to everyone. We all have to do our part. We have a pretty strong case anyway, and when we go back to the bargaining table, we've been working without a contract for 2 years now. We've already compromised in healthcare and overtime. It's time for you guys in management to step up and make a commitment to labor.
I completely agree. I'm on your side, but the reality is nylon sales have been declining for the last 4 years, and that's not likely to improve.
And get better salespeople. Don't take it out on the production guys, or invest in the plant and bring in something new to produce.
And as I was saying, jumped around. Here we go. And as I was saying, this is an old plant, and the capital investments in retooling and retraining the workforce would be costly. With the history of labor problems and declining sales and revenues here, I'm afraid the powers that be aren't going to be in a position to compromise very much. To tell you the truth, we're hanging on by a thread as it is.
Typical management double talk.
What's that supposed to mean?
You were just congratulating me on the numbers we're putting up, and now you're talking about labor problems. Are we doing a good job or not? All we're looking for is some security. Maybe it's time for management and sales to look closer to home and make some adjustments instead of always blaming the floor guys and gals. When is management going to take some responsibility? I don't want to see another strike, but if you guys don't show some kind of goodwill and commitment by the end of the quarter, well, I'm afraid you're not leaving us much of a choice.
Yeah, I hear you, but let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the saying, 3 strikes and you're out?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, it's not just a baseball term. If you guys walk out, it'll be the 3rd strike at this plant since it's opened. 3 strikes and you're out applies to businesses too.
You got to be kidding me. I've been here 27 years, and the last strike was 15 years ago. The first strike was before I even started here, for Christ's sake. They can't hold something that happened before most of us were even here against us.
I'm sorry, Mike, but when it comes to strikes, the senior guys in Wilmington have an elephant's memory.
But
Nothing, but nothing. Listen, I'm on your side. I really am. This is my plant too, and you're all like family to me. I'll fight for you to the end. But I'm 68 years old. I only have so many rounds of fight left in me. Nobody wins if there's another strike.
A moment.
all right, I get what you're saying. I'll talk to some guys and see what other options there are, but I don't know if it'll make any difference. People are pretty fired up these days. This sucks.
Yes, it does.
I'm finally getting my life back together. I'm feeling comfortable. And now you're telling me all our jobs on the line. I can't afford to lose this job.
Ned opens a drawer in his desk and pulls out a manila folder and places it in front of Mike.
I may be able to help you with that. I may have an option for you if you're interested. It'll help you in the short run and give you some exposure around the company for the future in case things go bad here.
Sure, what do you got?
Well, you've seen the news about the shooting in the meatpacking plant in Oklahoma last week.
Just bits and pieces. Some guy went postal and shot up a bunch of his coworkers. Why do people do that? I'll never understand. Why not just shoot yourself and save everybody the misery?
It's true.
Some people are just sick. Oop, there we go. Some people are just sick and looking to make a name for themselves. Anyway, with the situation the way it is here, the brass are pretty shook up. They want to form a task force to review all of our safety and emergency shutdown procedures and shelter-in-place plans, as well as any mental health services we can offer to hopefully prevent something like that from happening here.
Something like that would never happen here.
Nobody ever thinks it will until it does. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. We need to have a plan in place, and I want you on the task force.
Really? Okay, but why me? That's a little above my pay grade, don't you think?
Son, safety is everyone's pay grade. This will be a good opportunity for you. We're looking at this from every angle, from top to bottom. You've worked all around the plant. You have a unique ability to see things from everyone's perspectives. All of the managers and the union people respect you. And I think they'll be honest with you if you ask them for their input. This is a good chance for you to get yourself known to people in different sectors of the company, and especially in Wilmington.
Why would I want to be known to those ass clowns in Wilmington? No.
Because those ass clowns, as you call them, still sign your checks. And you're going to need them on your side if you're going to take the next step in your career.
Next step? Man, I'm cool with my job the way it is. Are you trying to get rid of me?
Mike, you're 45 years old. You're too young to be thinking you can just coast out until you retire. You need to be thinking of ways to move forward. You got to have some kind of plan for the future.
I'm not good at planning for the future anymore. I used to be good at planning, but after Michelle, I kind of lost the ability to do it. You know, they tell us to take one day at a time in AA.
Yeah. I think there's a little more to it than that. But I'm glad you brought up AA. How's that going? Are you still going to meetings?
Whoa, where's that coming from?
Just asking a question. No need to be defensive about it. But we had a deal, remember?
Yeah, I remember. What's that have to do with anything?
The deal was you'd sober up and join AA and go to meetings, and I wouldn't fire you.
I did. I haven't had a drink in 5 years.
That's great. So you're still going to meetings?
What? Why are you asking me that? Did someone say something to you? Because I swear I'm clean.
Calm down, calm down. Nobody has said anything, but I can tell by your response what the answer is. The reason I'm asking is because I might have a job opportunity for you, but I need to know that you're still doing what you need to do to stay sober.
I am. I haven't thought about drinking in I don't know how long.
Good. Keep it up. But this isn't my first rodeo. I've seen many good men and women relapse after months, heck, even years of sobriety because they got complacent and they stopped doing the work.
Yeah, well, I'm not like that. I wasn't your normal run-of-the-mill alcoholic.
Oh, really? I'm not sure there's any such thing as a normal run-of-the-mill alcoholic.
You know what I mean. If all that stuff with Michelle hadn't happened just before Mom died, my drinking would have never gotten out of control. I just got overwhelmed for a little while.
10 years is more than a little while.
Yeah, it is. I'm not defending it. Trust me, I don't ever want to go back to that again. It would take something so bad, or a series of some things to happen again, for me to even think about drinking again. And then, even then, I don't think I'd do it.
That's good. But the fact that you're even allowing any thoughts at all of drinking again concerns me.
I'm not.
What's that old saying? There's nothing so bad that drinking won't make it worse.
Jesus Christ, Ned, why are we even talking about this?
Because being on this task force can put you out in front on a new job opportunity. I want to help, but I need to know that you can handle it. If not, I'll find someone who can.
What's the job?
Harry Bargelski from Health and Safety is going to be putting in for retirement soon.
Oh, really? That's a shame. He's a good guy. I worked for him for a few times on different projects.
Yeah, I know. He's mentioned you on several occasions and how impressed he was with you.
And picks up the manila folder on his desk and leans forward and hands it to Mike.
Take a look at this.
What is it?
It's the job description and job posting for Harry's job as Regional Health and Safety Coordinator.
You're not considering me for Harry's job, are you?
Yeah, why not?
Well, for one thing, the job's in Wilmington.
So?
That's a 2-hour drive from here. That's a hell of a commute, don't you think?
So move closer to Wilmington. You see the salary range for that position? You could afford to make the move.
That's not the point.
Mike opens the folder and glances at the salary.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Yeah, right?
Well, what about Lisa? I hardly see her enough now with all the hours she's working at the pharmacy.
Yeah, that's something you two will have to work out.
This is a salaried position, right?
Yes.
So I'd have to quit the union.
Yeah, that kind of goes without saying.
I don't know if I can do that. I've been a member since I started here. I owe them a lot.
I understand wanting to be loyal, but sometimes you have to think about yourself and your future.
If it wasn't for the union, you'd have fired me years ago. The union saved my job. I just can't walk away from it now because things are looking bad. The union's strength comes from its solidarity.
I don't think you understand. It wasn't the union that saved your job 5 years ago. It was me. As the plant manager, I have final say on who gets hired and fired. We had all the documentation we needed to let you go. I don't know what they told you, but your union buddy signed off on letting you go. I saved your job then, just as I'm trying to save it now.
Holy shit. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get me to turn my back on my brothers. I can't believe you thought I would do that.
Jesus, Mike, listen to yourself. This doesn't have a goddamn thing to do with the union. I'm trying to help you.
No, you're not. You're offering me a shiny new salary job will weaken us or divide us. How many other people are you going to do this to?
What the hell are you talking about? This isn't a ploy to weaken your precious union.
So you're saying you're not going to be offering anyone else new jobs if they leave the union?
No, I mean, yes, but that's not the point. Leaving the union doesn't have anything to do with it. Whether you realize it or not, this ship is going down, probably sooner than later, with or without a new labor contract. And there aren't enough lifeboats to save everyone. I'm trying to get you a seat on the lifeboat.
Divide and conquer. That's how management breaks unions. I've heard of this, but I never thought it would happen here.
Ned is shocked and hurt by Mike's insinuations. He takes a moment to gather his composure.
I suggest you stop talking right now. For you to suggest that I am using you as some sort of pawn after all these years, well, that's just beyond the pale.
I didn't mean.
Ned looks away from Mike and at his computer screen and begins typing.
We're done here. Now I want you to stand up and turn around and get the hell out right now.
I didn't mean to.
Get out!
Mike stands and slowly turns to leave. He stops and reads the quotes on the wall on each side of the door. He looks back at Ned and takes in a deep breath and is about to speak, but stops.
Mike,
Yeah,
don't forget your helmet and glasses. Take that folder with you. Think about it. Let me know what you decide.
okay.
Mike walks back and picks up the folder and turns to leave.
One more thing.
What?
How about you do an old man a favor and think about going back to a meeting?
Sure, Ned. I'll think about it.
Lights out and scene 1. Act 1, scene 2.
Wait a minute. I gotta cast someone. Brian, you want to play Brad in this role?
Sure.
In this? And who else do I got here?
You got it.
Okay, go ahead. I'll read what the role
Keep it
for.
as a female.
Okay, you want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Act 1, scene 2, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, Seaford Community Center. Later that night, Dave, back center stage, is sitting behind a small table facing the audience. On the table is a small bell, a basket, and various AA pamphlets and a copy of the AA Big Book. He is surrounded by men and women who are sitting in a loose circle around him. Seated to his right is Mike. A few seats to his left is Dylan. Men and women of various ages fill the rest of the seats. Some of them are seated with their backs to the audience. Brad is a few seats from Dylan and is winding up sharing his story to the meeting.
So that's why it's important to have a sponsor help you work through the steps. If I had worked with Brian before I tried to make up my 5-step amends to my wife, maybe they wouldn't have ended up being exhibits A, B, and C in our divorce proceedings.
A small rumble of laughter from everyone.
Oh, that's me again.
Yep.
Anyway, that's all I got tonight. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Keep coming back.
Coming back.
Okay, look, who's Dave? Me?
Phil, you can be Dave.
Okay, it looks like we have a few minutes left. If anyone has a joy or a serenity threatening issue that they would like to share. Remember, it's better to share a serenity threatening issue than before it becomes a sobriety threatening issue. Mike, how about you?
Me?
Scroll down.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hello, Mike.
Hey,
Welcome.
Mike, welcome.
Hi. Thanks. You have to forgive me. I wasn't planning on sharing anything tonight. I haven't been to a meeting here or anywhere quite a while, and
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey, yo, do you want the new phone list?
no, I think I still have a list or two at home somewhere from before, and I have a sponsor, so I'm good. At least I think I still have a sponsor.
Mike looks at Dave hopefully and a little embarrassed. Dave smiles slightly and nods yes.
Well, you're going to get a new list anyway. It never hurts to have a new one.
Brad nods to Dave at the table, who picks up a pen and writes his number on a pamphlet and then passes the pen and pamphlet around the circle.
Okay, thanks. Just like I started to say, it's been at least a year since I've been to a meeting, and I'm sorry about that. I don't really have a good excuse. I guess I thought since everything's been going well, I got complacent, so I need to keep coming. But I've noticed I've been moody and on edge lately. I know from my history that's never a good way to be. To make matters worse, I guess you could say I had a genuine serenity threatening issue today. Before it got out of hand and before sobriety became threatening, I thought I might get myself back in here and talk about it. My boss calls me into his office today to talk about some reports I had sent him. No big deal, but then he started talking about the shootings at the meatpacking plant in Oklahoma and how scary that was. He said they're forming a task force to deal with potential threats at our plant. He wanted me to be a part of it. I told him something like that could never happen here, but
If you don't give us a new contact, shit like that could happen here. Oh, sorry. Me and my big mouth speaking what I'm thinking again.
oh, okay. Just anyway, Ned asked me about how things are going at home and how his lease is doing. And it seemed like all of a sudden he was asking me if I was still sober and attending AA meetings. For some reason, I snapped and I got really defensive about it. I didn't want to admit it to him that I haven't been coming to meetings. He was just trying to give me a heads up that things were going to heat up with the contract talks, and he wanted me to be prepared to make a plan for the future if they didn't go well. Thing is, I'm not really good at planning for the future and making commitments anymore. I used to be a great planner, but for the last time I tried making plans and commitments for the future, things ended up going horribly wrong. I got absolutely crushed, and that's what started me drinking heavily for so long. That's why I've been really taking the saying about living one day at a time to the heart. And
Dave rings a bell in
Bing!
front of him.
All right, sorry, Mike, we're at the top of the hour and I'm going to need to stop you right there. But if you want to continue, you can talk to someone after the meeting or call your sponsor. We can talk later.
oh no, that's okay. I don't know where I was going with that whole story anyway. Thanks for letting me share, everyone.
Thank you, Mike. Keep coming back.
Thanks, Mike. You come back. Okay, everyone. We have a good way of closing the meeting. If we could all stand, join hands, and the circle will end with the Serenity Prayer and the Lord's Prayer.
Everyone stands and joins hands in a circle.
Mike, would you like to take us out?
I don't know, Dave. How about you have someone else do that?
Mike steps back sheepishly.
Okay, Brad, how about you? You have the honors.
No problem. If we could all bow our heads for a moment. No, wait, let's change that. I remember an old timer who used to say we've had our heads hanging low for long enough. We're here now, and our way to a better life. So let's hold our heads high. Hold on. As we observe a moment of silence for the still sick, suffering both inside and outside these rooms. And then we'll end with the Serenity Prayer and the Lord's Prayer.
A moment.
God,
grant me
Grant me the serenity. Lights out.
Lights out. A few moments. Lights up. Most of the group has left. Mike, Dave, and Brad are folding a few remaining chairs and wiping counters. I'm generally straightening up the room. Dylan is standing off to the side of the room waiting for a chance to speak to Dave. Brad walks up to Mike.
So Mike and Ned offered you a new job.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm interested or not.
Why not? Is it more money?
Yeah, a lot more.
So what's the problem?
Well, for one thing, it's in Wilmington. I don't want to commute 2 hours back and forth every day. So I probably have to move somewhere closer. And I don't know if I want to do that. Lisa and I are pretty serious. And I don't know how would she take all this?
Wilmington, huh?
Yeah,
Not too many union jobs up there?
it's not a union job. It's a salary position in the health and safety sector. I guess you could say it's technically low-level management, but not really. It's a good job, a lot more security and room for advancement.
Uh-huh. But you'd have to leave the union.
Yeah, there's always a hook, isn't there?
I'll say. Too bad you can't take the job.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have my reasons, but tell me why you think I can't take it.
Because it's bad. She's crazy, that's why. They don't want you. They're just trying to break the union. Offering a little candy to some of the members to weaken us and divide us. You have to see that, right? It's obvious. Why would they offer someone like you a plum job right now?
Oh, whoa. There's someone like me?
Yeah, someone like you. No offense, but I heard stories about how you were back in the day. Most of us before my time, I heard you were a class A fuck up. And when you were drinking, and if the union hadn't stepped in and stopped them, your boy Ned was already ready to fire your ass. And now suddenly he wants to offer you a new job in the health and safety sector of all places.
That's not true.
Which part? You being a fuck up or the union saved your job?
First of all, fuck you. I'm not a fuck up anymore, and the union didn't save my job. Ned told me they were ready to cut me loose and actually signed off on it. He decided to call me in his office instead. We sat down and talked it out and made a deal. If I agreed to go to rehab and AA meetings and stayed sober, he wouldn't fire me. So that's what I did. He looked out for me then, just like he's trying to look out for.
Oh, look out for you now?
I was going to say he's trying to look out for all of us.
Oh, come on, man. What flavor of Kool-Aid are you drinking? You don't really believe that you did that? He's only offering you that job to weaken us. He's trying to pick a few senior union guys here and there by forcing them to look out for themselves instead of everyone as a whole. We lose all our power as a union if we're not united.
Yeah, well, I've been wondering about that a lot lately. What has the union done for us lately? Our biggest strength used to be the threat of a work stoppage, but if we go on strike now, we're done. 3 strikes and we're out. That'll give them the excuse they need to shut us down and move our job overseas with cheaper labor and less regulations.
That's what they want you to think.
Maybe, but maybe it's true.
I'm not buying it. If that were their true, if that's true, they move every job out of the country. At the end of the day, American workers are the most dedicated, best trained, hardworking, proud, and productive workers in the world. Unfortunately, there's a time when we need to stand up and remind them of that, whether it's going to be going on strike or other means.
Brad holds up his hand like a gun and pantomimes something.
Dude, that's not funny. Don't even joke about that, especially these days.
Who said we're joking?
Damn, man. What flavor of Union Kool-Aid you drinking?
You haven't been to a union meeting lately either, have you? We don't drink Kool-Aid anymore. We drink Powerade. And all I'm saying is that you better not even think about jumping ship now. Oh, where am I at? To paraphrase something our brilliant former president once said, you're either with us or you're against us. And if it'll be a whole lot better if you are with us.
Calm down there, Slick. If I didn't know you better, I'd say this sound a lot like a threat.
No, not at all, buddy.
Brad reaches out and firmly and shakes Mike by the shoulder and smiles.
No, I'd say that sounded a lot like a prediction. You think about it, okay? We'll be seeing you around. Be sure to give my best to Lisa, too. Will you?
Brad turns and walks away. Dave walks up to Mike as he watches Brad exit the room.
Everything okay?
Yeah,
What was that all about?
nothing. Brad's just trying to be a hard ass and intimidate me into supporting the union.
Why? You've always been a union guy. You fall behind in paying your dues or something?
No, but I've had some doubts lately.
Dave shrugs.
Hey, be careful with that guy. He looks like trouble. Well, it's good to see you back. It's been a while. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
Good? I mean, good.
I feel like a real asshole for the way I talked to Ned today. He was only looking out for me, and I snapped on him and said some really horrible things to him.
Yeah, well, you can always apologize and try to make amends with him.
I think I will the next time I see him. You know, coming to these meetings is amazing. When I got here tonight, I was feeling lousy, but now I don't. I always leave these meetings feeling better than when I came in.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It never goes away. If you want to,
Dylan steps up to Dave and reluctantly taps him on the shoulder. He steps back and stands straight.
Excuse me, sir. Hi, my name's Dylan. I don't mean to interrupt you, but can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Dylan reaches out and shakes Dave and Mike's hands.
Thanks. This is my first time I've ever been to a meeting, and
Yeah? What do you think?
it was nice. I heard some interesting stories, and everyone is very nice. Actually, it's kind of scary how friendly everyone is at first.
I felt the same way at my first meeting. The good news is you never have to feel that way again. Just keep coming back. It gets easier.
Oh yeah, right. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to sound like it was bad. It was just different than what I expected, you know?
Yeah, how so?
Well, I've never heard so many cliches at one time in my life.
Jeez.
Every other sentence someone said sounded like some kind of cliche.
Yeah, I hear that. But we prefer to call them principles or suggestions around here. It'll take some time. You'll get used to it. Notice anything else?
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be so funny. I thought it was all going to be a real downer, but some of the stories I heard were funny as shit. You guys cracked me up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect.
No worry about it. Don't worry about it. None taken.
So what was your question, son?
Yes, sir. I was wondering how I go about getting a temporary sponsor.
You're looking for a temporary sponsor?
Yeah, I'm here under court orders. I got nailed for underage drinking over the summer after I left a party. The judge suspended my license and sentenced me to 6 months probation. Said I had to attend AA meetings and I get a sponsor for find something called a home group. But I don't know how to do all of this.
How old are you?
17, sir.
Wow, that's young.
Okay, sir.
Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I was just surprised though. Sounds like you got off pretty light for someone your age.
Yes, sir.
Now stop calling me sir. My name's Dave.
Okay, so Dave. I was lucky. My parents got me a good lawyer, and he told the judge that I'm an Eagle Scout and I have a scholarship at the University of Delaware in the fall. The judge considered all that and didn't want to risk my scholarship, so he cut me a break. If I complete all the sentencing requirements, my record will be cleared when I turn 18.
You are really lucky.
Yes, sir. And don't think I don't know it. I've learned my lesson. The judge says the first thing I have to do is submit the name and phone number of my sponsor to the court, but I don't know how to find one.
Finding a sponsor is easy. When you go to your next meeting, just tell someone before or during the meeting you're looking for a sponsor. Someone usually volunteer, or they'll direct you to where to find one.
Okay, that sounds easy enough. It's just that I've been kind of putting it off, and the judge needs the name by Monday.
Monday? What have you been waiting for?
Hey, I'm 17. What do you expect? My generation's motto is, why do today what you can put off till tomorrow? I know I kind of screwed up by putting this off. That's why I was hoping you could do me a favor.
What kind of favor?
Can I give the judge your name and number and tell him you're my sponsor until I find a real one? It won't be any trouble for you at all, I promise.
That's not how this works, son. Being a sponsor is more than just a name and a number. A sponsor helps you keep you sober. But you need it more importantly, he helps you work through the 12 steps.
Yeah. No offense again, Dave, but I'm not really interested in working through the steps. I'm not an alcoholic. Right now, I just need the name of someone I can say is my sponsor, need to come and hang out a couple of meetings for a few months until all this is over.
Hey, Alcoholics Anonymous is more about the not drinking. It's a program about how to live a better life.
Come on, Dave, give the kid a break. Let him work his own program for now. Aren't we supposed to find a way to say yes when someone reaches out for help? He's just looking for a hand until he finds someone else. What can it hurt?
Dave thinks for a moment and smiles as he comes to a decision and points to Mike.
You know what? You're right, Mike. Thanks for reminding me of that. There are different ways of saying yes and different ways of helping people when they ask for it. I'm sorry, Dylan, but I don't think I'm the right person to be your sponsor. But
okay, I understand. Thanks anyway, sir. I'll try someone else at another
hey,
meeting.
you didn't let me finish there, young man. I don't think I'd be a good match for you right now, but I think Mike here can help you.
Mike's smile vanishes.
Whoa, wait. What did he just say? Me? You're kidding, right?
No, not at all. Actually, the more I think about it, the more I like the idea.
I don't. I've never sponsored anyone. I haven't actually been devout with following the AA principles lately.
Yeah, that's why I think it would be good for the both of you. You've worked your way through the 12 steps and you know how it's done. You can start to work with Dylan on the first 3 steps and see how it goes.
But
what were you just saying about finding a way to say yes?
Please, sir, I won't be in any trouble. I'll give you the judge your name and number on Monday, and I won't bother you at all. I'll find someone else as soon as possible, I promise.
Mike looks back and forth at Dave and Dylan and shifts uncomfortably for a moment and then does something else.
okay, Dylan, I'll help you out. But here's the deal. You have my number on that phone list we passed around for you. I want you to call me every day until Monday and talk to me. Not for a long time, maybe just a few minutes each day so I can get to know you a little bit before you get my name to the judge. I don't want to look like an idiot if he decides to check up on you and calls me. Can you do that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate this.
Don't call me sir either. I'm not that old. Call me Mike.
Okay, Mike, I'll call you.
A car horn beeps twice off stage. Dylan checks the time on his phone.
Oh, shoot. That's probably my mom outside. I got to go. You guys want to come out and meet her and say hi real quick?
No, thanks. Maybe some other time. Go on, get out of here. You better call me tomorrow when the deal's off.
I will, I promise. Thanks again.
Dylan turns and hustles out an exit door at the rear stage left. Mike smiles and turns to Dave.
He seems like a nice kid.
Yeah.
Very polite. You don't see that much in kids these days.
No, you don't, unfortunately.
You know where that comes from, don't you? Good parenting. I bet he has good parents.
Yeah, maybe.
Dave and Mike start walking towards the rear of the stage door. Dave stops to unplug the coffee maker.
You really think I can help him, or are you just looking for a way out?
Maybe a little of both. Don't worry, you two will be fine.
Well, this day hasn't turned out like I expected.
Yeah, life does that to you sometimes. You just got to learn to live life and roll with it.
Oh, great. Just what I need. Another cliche.
Mike and David, exit, lights out, end scene 2.
All right.
Is that all we got? Is that
Okay.
Okay, we don't have scene 3? Okay, good.
Now,
All right.
That's all we got.
you set the
Okay,
stage.
Lance.
Some foreshadowing. And now we want to find out what happens.
This is mo better. This is much more better.
You in the past, you ran this by us and you took another scene further and we began to get hints, or maybe you just let it slip, but this is a story we want to continue.
Mhm.
Good.
I enjoyed that tremendously. That was I mean there's still like little spots in the beginning part. I don't have the script, so I'll read it when we get it. But that you could clip down a little bit. Some
Yeah.
Condense.
It's
like-
a little wordy. It's
Yes.
still too wordy.
Just in a couple places though. Just
Mhm.
the rest of it was I was locked in the whole time, even though I had to move around. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
For me, what in terms of the wordiness, I think that for the audience having just seen the first scene, a lot of what happens in the first scene is retold in the second scene. And I think it kind of gets bogged down a little bit there, but then it really picks up as we go along. So I think if that can be handled, then I think it helps with the pacing a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought of that when I was, but what I was thinking was what the audience saw in the first scene, the people in the AA meeting wouldn't necessarily have known about. So like he's kind of recapping what happened to us earlier in the day. And I know that needs to be changed a little bit. Like
I think there are some missed opportunities that would help you sort of cut all this down and make it maybe a little more like, like you want
Direct.
those first 20 pages to soar. So first we have Ned and Mike talking about, well, you remember, and I cut you remember out. People never say you remember. You know what I mean? Unless you're like, oh my God, do you remember the time when? Like that can be unspoken, and it can just be, you can hint at it. Like all Mike needs to say is our deal, because or all Ned needs to say is like our deal, or he just needs to like, or don't act like I didn't help you. He doesn't need to tell the whole story. Once Mike gets to like the AA, then it's logical. No one there knows about their relationship. And at that point he can say, Ned's done all this for me. I reacted like that. And it becomes, that's when you can do that separate thing of exposition, because I think what you're trying to do in the exposition is say, here's everything you need to know.
Pay attention.
For the next whatever. But think of it more like almost like a painting that comes into view. So they only need what they need for that scene. In the next scene, you can find ways to paste it in and sort of like cut it down. And like Dylan's long sort of like, because I was kind of, for a while, I was like, what's Dylan? I don't know why Dylan's here. And then obviously you explain it. But I think you could literally cut out half of what Dylan says, because you have Mike nodding at Dave. He looks at Dave and Dave nods. Everyone saw that. So you have this unspoken cue that Dave's the sponsor. It's completely logical for Dylan to walk up to Dave and start it, hey, can you be my temporary sponsor? Are you the sponsor? And like you can start, and then Dave can be like, what? Well, I need temporary. What does that mean? Like you can just start there.
Okay.
I have the advantage of having lived with this as you have, Lance, for a while, and you did something. I'm not quite sure because I as for the first few go arounds of this. What's the main character's name?
Mike.
Mike was a completely unlikable character, and he was completely. I always, every other time we've read this, I want him to go out and get hit by a car on his way out the door. Anyway, but this time you've somehow managed to,
Thanks,
to
Bill.
get me on his side.
Here's
No, really. You've managed to get me on his side now with that conflict at work, some other things. So that kind of really added depth, because I think you did a lot of work of putting the conflict at work as and really exposing his inner conflict about moving up or being a union man or whatever. And that wasn't there initially. So that's a big deal. Now I feel a little more sympathetic towards him than I otherwise have had before. So that was a nice piece of work.
Yeah, more invested.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the goal is to make him, he's the quotes on the wall are supposed to be a little bit of foreshadowing, and he's got split loyalties now between Ned, who he kind of looked at as a father figure and trust, and then his loyalty to the union. But the union isn't what he grew up with. It's becoming more radicalized, and that'll be drawn out in some other scenes.
Is it going
You
to
know,
be?
it
You're going to
might-
continue to have the? Are you going to have the? Keep following the line of the Dylan being his long lost son that he doesn't know about?
Yeah, that's going to be developed.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the don't lose, even though that's the big deal, probably the main story thing that this story is about, and the conflict between him and the woman. Don't lose the conflict at work between Ned and the union. That really adds depth to the character.
does.
Allows you a certain ability to, allows you to do things that can be that foreshadow isn't the right word, but do the better one comes along.
Yeah. Well,
It also helps you migrate that to the other character as well.
Right
Brad,
now,
did
Something going.
I'm sorry. Right now, you have us. I mean, management says the union wanted him fired, and the union says management wanted him fired, and the audience doesn't know who's really got his back, who really
Yeah.
said he's vacant. And it's the longer you can keep that up in the air, I think that tension's wonderful, because we, as the audience, don't know who is really fighting for him.
I also, Lance, I also like the way that you got Mike to be Dylan's sponsor, because if I remember correctly, and I may not because it's been a while, that the conversation was initially with him. And so I like the fact that you developed sort of, Dave, I think,
Yeah.
an arms about, we don't do temporary here. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
And saying, I'm not going to be the right person for him. And then and how Mike came in softly. And so, we're all fine. Yeah. So it's to the reason that he would then put him on there, and that that's how that would happen. The other thing I liked is you really captured the DuPont safety thing.
Yeah, I was trying to do that.
Because my dad was a DuPonter, and safety was, so I just thought that was really good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Lance, one of the things is that, and I don't know, I don't remember what you had done before, is it seems to me there are going to be three conflicts. First, one between the workplace conflict, the conflict between the
Union and management.
yeah, no, not only that, but also the conflict between Mike and the one-time girlfriend. Then there's another conflict that I've never really thought about before that's implicit in this, that, I infer it rather, is that the internal conflict between Mike and himself, where there's, how is his, how does his telling his ex-girlfriend that Dylan's really his son, how does that affect his role as a sponsor? And then what if he's going to have some kind of a struggle because that could destroy the kid forever. So I was wondering if
that's a primary source of conflict later on. When, just real quick, that the next scene will be with about Lisa, his current girlfriend, and she's going to talk about the challenges she sees in the relationship with Dave, and then, or with Mike. And then ultimately, Mike comes close with Dylan and enjoys being a sponsor and thinks about what it would be like to have been a father. And then the next scene, he accidentally runs into Michelle. And through the course of the conversation, some things are revealed. He figures out that, holy shit, Dylan, the guy I'm sponsoring, is my son. And but Michelle, his ex-girlfriend, doesn't want him to have anything to do with Dylan. Says, you know, he's still a minor, stay away from him.
Yeah.
And everything. So now he's conflicted. He's like, he likes him and he likes being a sponsor, but you can't do that, be a sponsor the proper way, knowing that he's really
Yes.
a father. So,
Right.
Yeah, I guess that whole internal conflict is good. The other thing is that you did a really nice job with, because this can quickly become a downer, is you've kept a lot of jokes in there. So, you know, keep thinking about how there are some good jokes in there and some funny lines. I don't know if you meant them to be funny, but they were funny.
Yeah, good. I good, because
Like-
I want to give the audience a chance to take a breath and maybe laugh
Yeah.
a little bit.
Like, this is hanging by a thread in a nylon company. That's hilarious.
See, I didn't get that. I didn't even think of that.
Okay.
Lance, this is cool for me coming in as a new person to hear you guys talk about the Dylan plot twist as the son, because already not knowing that, but just the overarching theme of the fatherhood and fathers and sons and the paternal aspect of this really struck me. So this is wild to find out that that's in there too.
Well, yeah, that's I really should have maybe held off until I had the other scene so I could have.
No. This is good.
But,
Now, Potter made a really, really good point in that, Lance, you have a wonderful situation here, because you got a guy who's sort of wishy-washy. He's, you know, he hasn't been to an AA meeting in forever, and the union, who was it that saved his job? The union management. He's being offered the chance to switch sides. He's sort of wishy-washy. He doesn't know where he's going, and he's into himself. But when he finds out he has a kid, suddenly it's about more than just him. Now it's about being a role model. It's about getting his life together. It's about examining his values and what's important to him, so he can get himself rock solid into a place where he can pass this on to someone who really needs him, that he owes something to. And the great part is, like Potter said, you have a tremendous opportunity, because at the beginning of the play, you got this guy, he's a mess, but we get to watch his personal growth, and at the end of the play, he's going to be somebody very different. And that is such a wonderful opportunity, because we're going to see him grow as an individual and change, and he's going to come up against challenges, and both to himself, his past, his belief system, is everything, but he's going to be doing it not for himself anymore, but for somebody else. And
Yeah.
it's going to be neat to see him grow in that respect. And you've got a great opportunity here.
Yeah, and you got like 5 different conflicts you have to come to grips with throughout this thing, and they're all pretty major. You got
there's
the
actually more than that, because you're going to find out that his
Don't tell us.
girlfriend, his
Don't
current
tell us.
girlfriend.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us. Don't tell us.
Write it so
Okay.
we can read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lance,
Okay.
Lance, I want
Chris,
to
you got
thank
the-
you. I want to thank you for letting us read it before you were done it, because this was really, really fun to read. I enjoyed it tremendously. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Brian.
Yeah, and like I said, and you really did a great job, because I've always thought that Mike was a despicable character, but now I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, Lynn said the same thing when she read it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you know, that's
Yeah.
funny, because I know the character in my mind, who I want him to be. And the first couple drafts, I didn't see him as the way you all see him, because I know what's going to happen, or I know I know the rest
Yeah.
of the story. So I tried to make him a little more sympathetic in the beginning.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
always
you
that
succeeded,
rule of you
No,
have to
I am
save.
on his side. Pardon, Christine?
There's always that rule of you have to save the cat. Like, it's really hard because your character can't just be sitting there a victim, because then
Right.
nobody cares about them. They have to be doing something. But at the beginning, they can't be doing all good. Like, they have to be doing something wrong or something confusing or something whatever, or else there's nothing, or else there's no story. But at
Right.
the same time, you have to, always have them save the cat, and it comes from that term where, what was it in Aliens, where Sigourney Weaver literally saves the cat through the whole
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
She might have been this like too Like if she didn't stop now and then to save the cat, she would have just been too much of a me versus this enemy thing. Like
Yeah,
you needed to
yeah.
make her loved. They're
Right.
always like in the
Right.
first 2 pages, you got to save the cat. You got to show your character doing
Yeah.
something sympathetic.
Something selfless.
Right, and-
Yeah.
So
and
you
right
can
now, this
attach.
character is not, this character's not selfish right now, and where that's a big deal, because
Yeah.
before it could have been that he was selfish. He's not selfish now, so that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great change.
I think the character, he's supposed to start out that he's gotten very complacent in his life, and he needs a nudge forward to grow, and he's getting many nudges all at once. And there's a lot of foreshadowing there. He's like, you know, it'll take a series of somethings for me to ever want to drink again. Well, all of a sudden, there's going to be a
It's a great
series
line,
of
by the way.
somethings that come
That's a
up,
great line.
and he's going to be caught off guard. They're going to be happening, and it may be obvious to the audience that these events are occurring, but it's not going to hit him until it does, and he's going to have to make a choice of what he does. So more to come next month. Especially if I can get my editor and friend back on board with me. She's a little bit angry with me this week, so
Oh dear. Well, I hope
Don't
that works
worry.
out.
Just
That'll
shut
be your
back.
next play.
Right.
I
don't have to
won't tell you what
tell us
she
what
did wrong. I won't tell you how wrong she is.
I'm sure,
and how
I'm
right
sure
she
it's what you did
That's
wrong.
is. That's a different story.
I have a question for the group. Do you think that because like we're really interested in what's going to happen next,
Mhm.
and with Brian's stuff and with Paula's all her translate, do you think we should start like recording this so that if people do want to see them, they can go to them? Like if somebody really wants to know what happened to Lance's play,
I think that's a call for the writers, like to have their
that's
stuff
why
out
I'm
there.
asking everybody. That's
Yeah.
why I said it's a thought to put out there. I don't know what you want to do, but just a thought. Since we have the, there's always a way to find a way to add stuff to the net for
Mhm.
CSP, you know, regular CSP.
Mhm.
And it's not like you have to have the room at the theater.
Well,
Yeah.
if you look at our Facebook page, we have over 70 members. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are kind of curious, but we only have 12 people here. We had Joe, so that's 13. And you guys we had what, 16, 17 were nice enough to show up for my play last September. There's a lot of people out there who really don't quite understand what we offer. And I think after this, if somebody writes up a really dynamic summary of what we did and invites everybody reading it to come to next meeting, please come. And I think if we grow the in-person or the televised membership, I think that's our strongest thing.
So maybe in the future, but I
Yeah.
know it's not right away, but that
Where
was
could
my
we find
thought.
a writer?
Susie,
Hey, Bill,
There's one.
Yeah, yes.
What I
Where
would
can we
say
find a
is-
writer to help us?
is recording does help the actual author. When you're sitting there and you have 16 people saying,
Yes.
this is my comment, this is my comment, this is my comment, this is my comment, because I record all of my critiques. Like you write down as much as you can. And then you sort of, when you listen to it the second time, particularly because writers are critical, like you'll go back and you're like, oh, wow, they actually said some nice stuff. I didn't realize that. I'll keep this line. I was gonna burn this, but maybe.
yeah. So
I
just
didn't-
so you all know, this particular recording is, we're going to put a header where somebody's going to, we don't know yet who, someone's going to record a piece to go before it so that when it's put into one of the slots on the season online for CSP in general, it's going to be an introduction to Next, you know, like
Right.
this is who Next is and
That's
this is
great.
what Next does. And that's we're hoping to bring all of the people at CSP to be aware of our writing workshop.
That's great. Show them what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we need to work out the kinks first before we start recording seriously. Maybe pretty soon, at some point,
Yes.
we'll be able to know what we're doing. I don't know if you could download the the story first beforehand, and then you have it on there, and then I don't know how that would work, 'cause I'm not
Yeah,
really.
there's a lot to work out, but that's for the future. This is just going to be the first to let them know who we are, and then we'll
That-
edit it.
Well,
For
let
mine, that was gonna be my next question. Should I post the next 3 scenes before next month? Or
That'd
should
be
I
great if
save
you
them?
could. Whatever you
I-
want to be, whatever you
Post
want.
them, 2 days
sorry.
before, so we can read them then, but that gives you
2
more
days.
time to work on them.
I'd
Okay.
give me more than 2 days because I work a lot. If you have it up there a little longer for me so
Okay,
that
alright.
I don't know when I'll be able to get to it.
Okay, I mean, I will try and post it maybe a week before.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Week is good.
Yeah,
And we
and I
can,
think
and,
that
I'll, maybe I'll even try and cast certain people to the role so they know, so they can look at it.
Oh, that would be great.
That's helpful when people do that and kind of have a
Susan,
backup plan.
Susan, do you want to be the bad or the sweet, innocent current girlfriend, or do you want to be the bad Michelle?
Hey, Michelle, that'd be
All
fun.
right, there
Okay,
you
hold on
go.
one second.
The
I have another-
progress you made, Lance, is going right in the toilet now. All
I
the
have another
progress you
thing I
made.
wanted to add, and I this is up for discussion. But one of the things that the actors that come on here that don't write, they just come on to help support. If there's any way you can try to make sure we as a group can
Yep.
try to make sure that they at least get to read something at least once, so
Right,
that they
yes.
don't come on and don't get to do anything, because that's frustrating. I mean, it's fun to listen, but you still want to be able to read.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah,
Whether
it's important that the actors do the acting and the writers do the
Well, no, sometimes we
Note-taking.
need everybody, but
Right.
if one person didn't get to read, try to make sure you get them in for something.
Yeah, everybody should have a chance to do something.
yeah the actors get first dibs. Yeah.
Awesome sponsor.
It would seem good if even for the writers, if the writer tried to avoid reading his own or her
Oh, yeah.
own
Yeah.
thing, because that's where you learn really what the character is saying. So, even if it's a woman reading a man's part or a woman
Okay.
reading a woman's part, I think we should try to give the actors the
Yeah.
opportunity to
Yeah, that was my fault. I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared.
Please,
Yeah,
don't,
no,
don't apologize.
It's all a work in progress.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask, actually, just going back to your play, I'm curious whether Ned appears, throughout, because I kind of really like his character at the beginning. And Joe, I think you have really the perfect
He
persona.
does.
He does. I
I
mean,
found that.
He
I don't know.
does.
Your voice is so perfect.
My
a really
problem is
nice voice.
I didn't like Ned that much.
Oh,
you-
Yeah, me either.
I
Great.
see Ned as a union buster.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm really curious
And-
about where he's coming from. So I would be
Yeah.
really interested.
I didn't like him either. I didn't like Ned either, Joe, just so you know. I'm
Well,
sorry,
Well-
go ahead, Paula.
I think it's
See,
it's
this
a
is
really-
funny because I see Ned as a father figure to everybody in the company. And I even had an idea of making him Mike's godfather, and that would come out. And that's why another reason why he's always looked out even more so for Mike. But I don't know if that's too much of a thing. But yeah, I see Ned as being like a father figure and looking out for everybody in the company. But he's got 2 masters too.
He's a company
the
man.
The Wilmington, and he's old, and he hasn't only got so much fight left in him, and he wants to know if he helps Mike, then Mike can handle this, because if he can't, then he'll give the job to someone else. So that was.
Lance, as an audience member, I see you as being, he hooked you by helping you way back, and he's played that, and now you
Yeah.
wanted to stand up for yourself and your union guys because you got a backbone in there.
Yeah.
And then he pulls that card on you, and all of a sudden you fell right down that rabbit hole with him. You
Yeah,
just
well,
went right along with him. It was like, oh, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, blah. And that's exactly what he wanted. And so as an audience member, I'm seeing that.
Okay, that's
as
fine.
a
And you know what?
Yeah.
You don't
as a
have to agree.
character,
You
you're
don't have to
seeing-
like all the characters. You just have
I
to react to
know.
them.
Yeah, but I mean, the relationship between the 2 of them.
Hmm.
I see that it's not that I'm talking about how I see how your character is believing that he's kind of like a father figure, and as seeing the whole picture as a whole, like a painting, and I can see all of it. It's not your point of view. I'm seeing him as being taking advantage of you and you not even realizing.
As an audience member, I liked him at the beginning. I thought it seemed like a really nice, warm relationship. But then you get to scene 2, and then you find out, well, maybe this isn't what it looks like, which makes the character suddenly more
Yeah,
interesting.
that's great.
So I would hope that we see more of him to see that
I was
develop.
gonna say, every character that is in the first act, even like the next scene is with Mike's current girlfriend and at work, and she's talking to a coworker, Keisha. Everyone has a role in the second act. Everybody that's in the first act will come back somehow, and I haven't worked out how, but
That's great.
there's
Yeah.
even a character, Mrs. Hummel, who is just a customer at the pharmacy, and she has a very small few lines in the next scene, but she's going to come back in the second act. So every character should have some kind of significant effect on the story, hopefully.
Okay.
Hey, Lance, how old is Ned supposed to be?
Ned is like 68, I think. So
And Mike's 45, is that right?
Mike's 40, yeah. So that would be what, 18 years difference. So maybe it can't really be his godfather, I guess.
Well, he could. I mean, really. Because a lot of times it's just a name kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily mean anything.
What's interesting is
By the way, I just put the link again in for the Paul's play. So please, everybody, next week or two, go in and listen to that. And so, because she's going to need your comments.
What I was going to say is that what's interesting in the first scene, Mike is immediately suspicious, and then in the second scene, he's defending Ned.
Yeah.
Which is I think a natural reaction, right? You're suspicious, and then you're like, you think about it. So that was an interesting. I think that was effective.
Thank you. That's kind of what I was going for.
Buffeted a little bit. Mike is being confronted with all of these changes.
He feels like he's grown up in the union. He's been in the union the entire time he's worked there.
Yeah.
And Ned tells him it wasn't the union that saved your job, it was me. And then the next scene, the union guy saying it was the union, not Ned. So that adds a level of conflict for him.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Paula.
Is there ever do we ever find out who's right about that?
I don't know yet.
Okay. No, I mean, it would be interesting as a to find, because I think because of that conflict, the audience is going to be waffling back and forth the same way Mike is, depending on how people treat him.
Okay.
It's interesting.
That's one of those things people talk about at intermission.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you say that, because I'm looking forward to, like, if this is ever actually performed, like at intermission, going and eavesdropping on people and saying whose side they're on, how they feel.
Right, yeah. Who did it?
Yeah.
Well, as someone who hasn't read the other versions, my interpretation was that because you make the one Brad, the guy who's like pro-union, because he wasn't there when everything went down, because you specifically say, I wasn't here for this, but I heard through the grapevine, blah, blah, blah. I kind of thought, oh, he's just spreading rumors. So like, as far as, I mean, still up for debate, like obviously, and that's what makes it interesting. Also, like, I'm interpreting like the union stuff as being like the main point of contention. Is it?
Well, it's the first obstacle that he's getting to maintaining being, trying to think of the word, content. It's the first step in shaking up his life. It's like, is there going to be a strike? Isn't there going to be a strike? Now he's got this job offer, but he'd have to leave the union. And what about his girlfriend and all these things? It's just the first.
Well, yeah, and I guess that's my question. Is it just like, is it a story? Because I see this as someone who knows nothing. To me, this story is going to be pretty
Yeah.
squarely about this guy who decides whether he's union or not.
Yeah, no.
Like, and everything else around that is going to sort of swirl, and
Yeah.
that's going to be the
Right.
thing that makes him grow and change.
Right, well,
Not that, not that Dylan's not important, but by page 21, Dylan isn't important. Like, so as someone who hasn't read anything, I see this story as being this guy who literally has to decide, am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Is it just, oh, hey, I have to decide whether or not I'm staying with Union, and then it's just like sprinkled throughout? Or is it the main point of
Yeah.
like, because to me, that's your act 2. Your act 2 is him dealing with Union stuff.
well, there's some other things that are gonna happen between now and the end of Act 1 that he's gonna have to deal with in Act 2. So that hasn't been revealed yet. So maybe,
How long
maybe
is your act 1?
Act 1 is 6 scenes, and we only read 2, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many pages? Is it 60
Oh.
pages?
it's yeah, probably. Maybe that's too long.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Because to me, this is the wrap up of Act 1. Like, obviously, I'm not seeing any of it, but that's what it feels to me. Like, you've given me a lot.
Right.
And I feel like, I mean, obviously, as I read on, but
Okay.
if it's not something that really matters, maybe you don't want it to be.
Yeah, it matters. It
Okay.
definitely matters. Everything leading to a timeline too. The first act takes place probably over the course of 6 weeks. Like the next scene will be the next day, and then it'll be like 4 or 5 weeks later. The unions come to the negotiation table. That's coming to a head. He's been sponsoring Dylan. That's, he's developed a relationship with that. Then he finds out that Dylan is his son, and Michelle doesn't want him to have anything to do with him. And there's something else that's happened with his current girlfriend. And everything I'll tell you, everything leads up to the end of the first act is whether or not he's going to pick up and drink again, because he's so overwhelmed with the series of something that he said would never happen has all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, that's foreshadowed very well. That's foreshadowed very well. I thought this was going to be a Union story. Not that like and then there's no real talk about it. So I was just wondering.
Okay.
Is this going to be 3 acts or 2 acts?
Well,
Ultimately, when you're done the whole.
There's 2 ways I can go with it, because I have a surprise ending potential, but it's kind of an open ending, and I don't know if I don't do it well, it looks like a cop out. It looks like, I'm afraid that it looks like the writer didn't know how to end it, so he just left it to the audience to decide how it ends. But if you do it really well, it's something that will linger in the audience's minds, like, well, he could have done this, or he could have done that, or maybe she did it, So I still have to develop
You
the
haven't
characters.
decided yet.
Right.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what we're here for.
Well,
you tell me which way to go.
Regardless of how you end it, you should know whether or not that ending is going to be in the 3rd act. That will help you decide how long you want your 2nd act to be. That will help you decide. The 3rd act can be 4 pages technically, but if that'll decide how you want the rest of that curve to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm thinking of it as a 2-act play, but I could put like you said, 4 or 5 page 3rd act in it to just. It would almost be freestanding. It would almost could be there or not be there. So I don't know. I still got to get these next 2 scenes done so I can resolve some of these questions that you posed to me. All right, Bill, take charge.
Good enough. All right, well done, everybody.
Right,
looks like you're gonna get about 20 minutes of your day back. As I understand it, I will be once this is all done, I will get with Susie and we'll figure out, send it to Peter, what's his name, and then talk about some edits, and maybe I'm not sure what his vision of this meeting was, but I suspect it won't be 90 minutes long.
I doubt it very seriously.
I mean, so if I use all this to make a 1-minute clip of something. So anyway, you guys did great. Let's remember, writer's right. Let's get something done so these actors can have something to do. So Christy, the new Christy, are you a writer or an actor?
Actor.
Actor. Okay, good. It's good to know. Okay, great.
But this was great. It was so great to meet everybody. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, did you give us you're on the next page?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Good. We can bug you now.
Okay, good.
All right. All
How
right.
would we be able to see this video? Just click on the next page or?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know much about it yet. Okay.
I haven't had this much fun in a long time, let me tell you.
All right.
I don't know
Remember-
what you
We
say.
miss you.
Yep.
Writers can write by themselves during a pandemic. Actors.
What are you
Just not the same.
All right. Brian, we'll work on that body count and everybody will see you next month.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be memorable.
Okay, bye.
All right,
Susie,
bye.
stay on a minute.
See ya.
Bye.